Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, getting good with money has less to do with complicated spreadsheets and more to do with, well, your feelings? Today, we're diving into Clare Seal's game-changing idea that true financial well-being starts with healing the actual relationship you have with your money.
And this quote right here is the heart of it all. It's such a simple but powerful idea, isn't it? You just can't separate your overall wellness from your financial health. They are completely, fundamentally intertwined.
I think for so many of us, the topic of money just brings up this heaviness. You know that knot in your stomach? The sleepless nights? That feeling of being totally trapped? It's incredibly common, and it can feel like a stressful cycle that's impossible to escape.
So here's the big question. What if all the budgeting apps and tips in the world are just Band-Aids? This approach says we need to stop just treating the symptoms and start digging deeper to fix the root cause, our often complicated and sometimes broken relationship with money.
But, before we can even think about a solution, we have to really understand the problem. Why on earth does money have such a powerful and often really stressful grip on our lives? Let's get into it.
You probably remember this from a psychology class way back when, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's that classic pyramid that shows what we humans need to feel fulfilled. It starts with the absolute basics at the bottom, like food and safety, and goes all the way up to self-actualization, living our best, most meaningful life.
And here is the kicker. Money is woven into every single layer of that pyramid. Think about it. From buying your groceries, to feeling safe in your home, to having the freedom and the time to chase your dreams, it's all supported by some level of financial stability.
On top of that, we're often measuring our own success against this totally outdated blueprint. The whole job for life thing, owning a home in your early 20s, for a lot of people, that's just not the reality anymore. And that pressure to live up to some old-fashioned standard creates so much anxiety.
So when you take all of this stuff, your past experiences, these societal expectations, all these other outside factors, you get what Clare Seal calls financial baggage. It's like this invisible weight we all carry around that completely shapes how we think, feel, and act when it comes to our finances.
So the big question is, how do we start to unpack all of this baggage? Well, that brings us right to the core solution. It's about healing our relationship with money, not just crunching numbers.
Okay, and the very first step is absolutely critical. You have to separate your self-worth from your net worth. Your value as a human being, your kindness, your resilience, what you contribute to the world has absolutely nothing to do with the number you see on a screen.
And that leads right into self-forgiveness. Take a look at this list. Do any of these hit a little too close to home? For most of us, yeah. Seeing them all laid out like this really helps you realize you are not the only one who's made these kinds of mistakes. And this gets to an absolutely essential truth. You have to forgive yourself. That feeling of shame, it just keeps you stuck. Acknowledging that literally everyone makes mistakes with money is the first real powerful step toward making a lasting change. Part of the healing process is also understanding a little bit about our own psychology. Ever heard of the hedonic treadmill? It's the reason why getting a big pay raise feels amazing for a little while. And then, before you know it, you're back to feeling how you did before. We're just wired to adapt and then start chasing the next thing.
So, how in the world do you get off this treadmill? Well, it's about learning to enjoy the process, not just waiting for the big payoff at the end. It's about finding those activities you love so much, you just lose track of time. That's your flow. And honestly, it's about cultivating a little patience and understanding that real, lasting contentment is a journey.
So once you begin that healing process, you can start building some practical, sustainable habits. And the goal is to make them feel less like a chore and more like a genuine form of self-care.
Here are 3 really great examples. First, try creating a money ritual. Pair a task you don't love, like checking your budget, with something you do love, like a great cup of coffee. It's a technique called temptation bundling. Second, just get in the habit of pausing before you buy something and asking yourself, why am I really buying this? And third, set up a special savings pot just for fun stuff, so you can spend it completely guilt-free.
And look, it's really important to acknowledge that this stuff isn't always easy. We are surrounded by a constant tidal wave of pressure to buy more, borrow more, consume more. So practicing this kind of financial self-care is a genuine act of resistance. All right, that brings us to our final and honestly most empowering section. This is where all that healing and habit building starts to come together so you can intentionally design the future you want. First things first, we have to completely reframe what financial planning even means. It is not about restriction. It's not about being told no. It's the exact opposite. A good financial plan is your personal blueprint for creating more security and more freedom in your life.
So this is the big gut check question to ask yourself. Is everything in alignment? Are your career choices, your daily spending habits, and your biggest life goals all pointing in the same direction? Are they telling the same story? Because this is the ultimate goal, right? It's to flip the script. You want to get to a place where you are firmly in control, and your money becomes a tool that serves you and helps you build a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
So, after exploring all of this, I want to leave you with one final thought. Take a moment and really ask yourself, beyond all the numbers and bank accounts, what does a truly wealthy life look and feel like to you? Your answer to that question is the real start of your journey.